Today I'm going to be doing my second Tentpole Jam for this year, and what these effectively are progress reports for this channel. A jam that I do every few months over exactly the same backing track to show what's changed and what's improved in my playing since the previous one. And afterwards we break the jam down together, reviewing what it is that I'm doing more specifically, both doing well as what it is that I can improve on moving forward. But before we go any further, let me just say welcome back to the channel, guys. If this is your first time here, basically everything we focus on is to do with music and guitar-based betterment, discovering new ways to improve together. So if that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of, I'm not going to tell you what to do because I know that you know. But if not, I'll just take the opportunity to say thanks for watching. It really does mean a lot. And I just hope that there's something in this video that's useful for you and something that you're able to learn from. But alright, let's keep going. So my last Tentpole Jam, which you can find by clicking the pop-up now, I did towards the beginning of my channel, which was just over about a month and a half ago. And in the time since then, quite a lot of things have changed in my development. For starters, I now practice for at least 90 minutes a day, focusing on a number of different guitar essentials and techniques. For improvising specifically, I've been working on opening up new boxes and learning new ways to use certain scales, specifically the pentatonic, major and minor scales and different modes, as well as using arpeggios in my playing. And I've also been working on making my improvising more melodic through the use of expression and phrasing, all of which I'll be trying to use and apply in this specific jam. And as is standard with these jams, what you'll be seeing will be my first cold, unedited, raw take. I'll have listened to the track, I'll have worked out the changes and sort of familiarized myself with it, but I won't have done any practice runs over it or anything like that. So for better or worse, that's the take that you'll be seeing and the one that we'll break down together. So let's do it. So in a second we'll go back through that jam, we'll break it all down together. But before we do that, I just want to briefly touch on what it is that I said I wanted to improve on after I did my first jam a little over a month ago. Last time I said that I wanted to work on playing more melodically and more deliberate, being more in control of the jam instead of the jam being in control of me. I have a bit of a tendency to get lost when I'm jamming and sort of jump around the place and hope that what I'm playing sounds right, and I just wanted to tighten that up to make sure that in my playing it's more deliberate. And I also wanted to improve on adding a little bit more variation and speed to my playing to break up the occasional monotony of my solos. This is because I tend to lean towards playing in more of a ballady style, and I think in order for things to be more interesting and a little bit more varied, I need to push myself out of that box. So with that in mind, let's see how I did this time around. And I'm going to be watching this on my phone just because I haven't figured out the software to use on my computer where I can record both audio and video at the same time. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, I'd really appreciate it because I need the help. But alrighty, let's break it down. Like that as an opening sort of passage. Okay, so as an opening, I think that was quite good. I think it was well phrased. I think it kind of followed the same sort of theme. The only thing that sort of threw it off there was that weird sort of double stop, but I think I'm going into that in a second now. Okay. So I think with double stops, I'm trying to use them more in my playing, obviously, but I'm still kind of figuring out how to use them more melodically. Like right now, I'm just sort of using them in patterns and sort of shapes, which you can see. It's kind of like I'm just going up or just going down with them. So I think I'm still sort of figuring out my fluency for them instead of necessarily just knowing how to play them, if that makes sense. But, bit of overdrive. That's a bit messy. Okay, that last bit, I like that last bit. I think it was good. I think it sort of was satisfying. It followed a pentatonic kind of sound, but it also added in the what I believe is fifth. I could be wrong, but that's a shape that I use a lot. So I'm very comfortable there, and I kind of tend to fall back to that shape if I'm kind of in the need for something that I know will sound good. So I need to sort of push myself to break out of it, but also at times when I use it, if I just use it the once, it can sound good and it can sound like it, good. All right, carry on. Trying a sort of high register. Yeah, see, I like that use of double stops better. Tried a sort of faster pattern there, but didn't really work, I think. Yeah, see there, I remember that because when I went into, I sort of messed up that pattern going into the change to the chorus, and that kind of threw me off, and you can see it because like whatever note I landed on there going into the chorus was wrong, like you can hear it. But yeah, anyway. So that's something I think to work on as well, is sort of bridging verses and choruses and sort of sections of songs a little bit better. Again, going back to what I know is something good. I really like that. So that, obviously that final phrase was entirely wrong, was definitely a wrong key. I think what happened there was it was like going into the chorus, I knew that I hit a wrong note, so I was sort of a little bit jangled. So I kind of went back to what I know will sound good, which it did, and then I kind of got confident, and then I went to this sort of arpeggio pattern there, which I think was probably the standout for me from that. And then I also tried to do the same pattern that I know sounds good that I did in the low register and a high register, but it was just in a completely wrong spot, which, yeah. But, alrighty. So after watching that, there are a few points that stand out to me, I think. For positives, I think that I've improved my phrasing and my overall execution. I like the beats that I'm kind of leaning towards and the groupings that I'm leaning towards, and I think that my overall playing is a lot cleaner, though there were a couple of slip-ups here and there. And I also think that my approach to this one was a lot more competent, specifically because I didn't realize this last time, but this time when I approached the track, I realized that there was actually a key change going from the verse to the chorus sections. And this time through, I adapted to the change and I used it in my playing to the point where you kind of maybe don't necessarily notice it. And I think that kind of shows a little bit of an improvement in fluency. And I think the standout moment for me was that sort of arpeggio interval thing that I did in the second chorus, which I'll just chuck up down here now. And you can hear that I think it's really evocative and it's really sort of emotional. I think it's the more memorable passage out of everything that I played. For areas to improve, I think I still definitely need to work on playing more melodically and more memorably. I need to spend more time learning how to shape and develop an overall cohesive idea with my soloing, as well as add a little bit of variety and kind of build on it and continue to create interest across the course of the solo. Because at the moment everything still sounds a little samey, it still sounds monotonous, it's quite forgettable and nothing really stands out to you or kind of grabs your attention. And I think I still need to work on introducing a little bit more speed to my playing as well, which I tried, but I think my technical ability still needs a little bit of work to kind of not make it sound so sloppy. But that's all for the days ahead, and that about does it for today's video, guys. As always, I hope that there was something in this video that was useful to you, something you were able to learn from. If there was, please do let me know below, because it really does help me know what works for you guys and what doesn't, and how I can make better videos to share with you. So drop something below, anything you feel like, because I would genuinely love to hear from you. But otherwise, thanks for doing all the usual business to help support my channel and my videos. It really does mean a lot. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys in a bit.